هشام مصطفى اللي هي بتتكلم عن pitfalls in diabetic foot management. هتتحط على اليوتيوب، وممكن اللي يحب إنه هو يبقى يشوفها. هي محاضرة قيمة جدا الصراحة، بس we have a shortage of time. Thank you.
First of all, I would like to thank Professor Nesheltut for inviting us, and by us I mean the surgeons, yani, to this great conference, yani. And of course, I would like to thank Professor Amr Ged for including me as part of the Pan-Arab Vascular Surgeons Association. I'm going to make a brief talk about the standard dressings used in the treatment of diabetic feet, and maybe preserve the last two slides for not so standard dressings. Natural skin is considered the ideal wound dressing. The previously accepted wisdom was that if wounds heal best when they are kept as dry as possible. However, George Winter published his groundbreaking research in Nature in 1962, which demonstrated that if wounds are kept moist, they heal faster than those which are kept dry. And this launched the development of modern wound dressings with the intention of promoting moist wound healing. Now, the characters of the ideal dressing, and obviously no single dressing encompasses all of them, but it should be impermeable to bacteria, thermally insulating, allows gas exchange. It should be both comfortable and conformable. Conformability means taking the shape of the wound, whether it's superficial or deep or irregular. Ideally, it should be changed infrequently. It should be cost-effective with a long shelf life, capable of maintaining high humidity at the wound site, while at the same time removing excess exudate. It should be non-toxic, non-allergenic. It should be capable of protecting the wound from further trauma and removed without causing trauma to the wound. It should be free of particles and toxic wound contaminants. And if the previous two slides were too crowded, well, this is just to summarize it all. Now, the care of chronic wounds is a complex process. It's both an art as well as a science. Regular wound inspection is the cornerstone of proper wound care. Wound inspection should be performed by a trained healthcare provider, and what that means, no matter what the title of this healthcare provider is, whether it's a physician, a nurse, a podiatrist, well, they should have the necessary knowledge and skills to decide which dressing to apply, whether or not another intervention is warranted in order to achieve complete wound healing in the shortest time possible. Unfortunately, the most appropriate dressing is not always used because maybe confusion around which type of dressing to apply, or certain dressings, especially advanced dressings, either may not be available, may not be reimbursed, or simply too expensive, even in some of the developed countries. Now, to start, we'll start by what we all know, the brand name Sofratol, which are low adherent dressings suitable for use on flat, shallow wounds with low exudates. The difference between a tulle and a textile, well, basically a tulle is a specific type of textile which is mesh netted, زي الشبكة يعني, and usually soaked in paraffin or Vaseline. Semi-permeable films, these are suitable for flat, shallow wounds with low to medium exudates. They promote a moist environment, adhere to healthy skin but not to the wound. They allow visual checks, may be left several days. Useful as a secondary dressing. Now, when it comes to wound dressings, the first dressing that is placed on the wound is called a primary dressing. If you place another one over it, it's called a secondary dressing. Now, hydrocolloid dressings, now there is more than one category. First, the hydrocolloid sheets. These are good for cavities or flat, shallow wounds with low to medium exudates. They're absorbent, they're conformable, and they're good in difficult areas such as the heel. A paste is useful debriding agent, and by debridement, we were talking about chemical debridement, obviously, not surgical. It could be left for several days. The problem is it can cause maceration of the skin around the wound, and obviously it needs a secondary dressing. Hydrofibers, such as the Aquacell hydrofiber, it's highly absorbent, it's non-adherent, may be left in place for several days. It's good for any kind of wound, flat, cavity, undermined, medium to high exudates. Needs a secondary dressing. Hydrogel, they come in various brand names. They supply moisture to wounds with low to medium exudate, suitable for especially sloughy or necrotic wounds, may be left for several days. They need a secondary dressing. But if they leak from around this secondary dressing, they can cause skin maceration. Now, alginates, and as the name implies, they're algae or seaweed. Highly absorbent, useful in cavities, sinuses, undermining wounds, useful for high exudates. They do need a secondary dressing, and they do need to be changed daily. Now, foam dressings, now they could be used really in any kind of wound. And the added advantage of a foam dressing over the previous dressings we just talked about is that they do provide a degree of cushioning, yani protection against external trauma. Dressings that contain antimicrobial agents, different types, they contain various agents, but maybe the most antimicrobial agent is silver. Now, what are the side effects of these previously mentioned dressings? They can cause skin maceration as we mentioned, especially if it has a low absorptive capacity on a heavily exudating wound. They can, on the other hand, cause pain and disruption of healthy tissue on the wound surface during removal. And this is usually caused by a highly absorptive dressing on a dry wound. And this just shows us that it is important to select the proper dressing. An allergic reaction could be caused by the dressing itself or the tape that is used, in which case it should be avoided and topical steroids may be applied. Now, in our patients with peripheral artery disease, we usually take care not to put a tight dressing because a tight dressing could cause skin necrosis in these particular group of patients. Now, what about the not so traditional dressings? They have great potential. Further research is needed in them, either physical, energy-based therapies. Maybe the most famous of them is the negative pressure wound therapy, or the VAC, which I will talk about in the upcoming slide. But there are other therapies like waveform-based therapies, photo, biomodulation, and ultrasound, and different fancy names. Regenerative scaffolds, they are very promising. They allow for rapid wound healing by providing a structure over which the cells can grow, like dermal replacement therapies or amniotic-based therapies. The last one, the growth factor and cell-based therapy, maybe the most famous is the PRP, or the platelet-rich plasma. There is a lot of promising research in this area, but it is not mainstream practice as yet. Now, the negative pressure wound therapy, or the vacuum-assisted closure, the VAC, it's a treatment that uses specialized pump, a dressing, a canister to apply controlled subatmospheric suction pressure to a wound. It promotes healing by removing excess fluid, decreasing the edema, reducing the bacteria, improving the blood flow, and pulling the wound edges together. So this is the pump, this is the canister, this is the tubing. Now, this is the dressing, usually foam dressing, and this is the seal. It should be well sealed in order for the suction pressure to be applied correctly. And that's all I have to say about that. Thank you.